Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Leah Sparrow. Leah, where are you calling from today?
I am in North Carolina, in the United States of America, in the good old South.
Fantastic. Leah, for people just discovering your work, what's the simplest way to describe what you do today?
What I do is create consistent cash flow and clients without chaos. I address burnout. I address lead sales and delivery, if we're going to talk industry speak. But basically, what that means is how do you take a client from who the heck is this to I am a client and continuing those services with that client? In other words, how do you serve your client during your offer? And how can we improve that offer? How can we improve the conversion rate? How can we improve the lead gen? How can we improve that consistency through the use of whatever tools suit your business as well as tweaking your message?
Interesting. What was happening in your life or career that led you down this path?
Well, I've been doing this. I'm a consultant, so it's a one-on-one situation. You implement the steps. I help you implement your goals in your business to create consistent cash and consistent clients in your business. So for me, I worked in radio, and I know that's kind of a well, what does it have to do with booking clients? But what it has to do with booking clients is that basically what I was in charge of was creating listenership. The radio's the top of the funnel. So we have to get people to listen to the radio station, get the word out, make them stay and listen, make them listen through the spot break so that our clients are happy, and keep them listening throughout the day. Which honestly, nobody's going to listen to a radio station all day long. So we look at it as our audience engaged, our entire audience as an ecosystem. So when I was doing that as an operations manager, which is basically the person that's the right hand man to the owner himself. When I was doing that, I would look at different programs, different personalities in the business, and decide where to put them and when, and how to put them together so that we would have this cohesive show. And when you're working with personalities, that is about training. And when they're working together, especially when I had an all talk radio station, when they're working together, you have political issues, things like that. So you have to navigate all that. So you get people calling in complaining, you get people calling in that like the show, and you have to understand, are these people my ideal person? Are they the right people for what we're selling here? Are they the right people? So I have to monitor and understand the audience. So how that translates to me is that when I moved on from radio, because I saw radio starting to kind of lessen, radio shifted into what we see now, honestly. I got a degree in education because at that time they were paying people with real life experience to come teach in the schools. Then I went online and started teaching independently. And I was booking people so fast that as soon as I would open up a slot, somebody would be like, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. That's really where the shift from being a lead generator, working with marketing and sales and all that in business came into play was when I became an online teacher. I started using those skills in order to build my own business. And then people were like, how in the world are you booking people so quickly? So it evolved from there. I started sharing how to do branding. That's, where a lot of us start is helping people with their branding, with their logos, with their colors, with their, thumbnails and things like that. And it just grew from there. I started teaching people with video, how to tweak the video, how to sound like their natural through whatever source that they're using in order to share their services. It's still the same thing. It's always how do I bring more people into my business? And there's so many things involved with that my background in broadcasting and my background in education have come into play in this online space because my education background has to do with curriculum and instruction, which is developing an offer. It traces back to that greatly. It's weird how that works, but it traces back to that greatly. I've developed online courses. I've helped people with one-on-one services, groups, DM, all the things, and they've all had different types of marketing, plans. But there's a foundation there that always exists, and that's basically how are you going to talk about your services? Who are you going to serve? And that's more than they're from the United States and they're 35 years old and they're a girl. It's way more than that. It's mindset. It's a lot of things about how to relate to your audience so that they say, I can vibe with that person because they can get all the information under the sun for free off of YouTube. But what they're looking for is somebody they can actually work with and understand.
Mm.
So we help simplify your message, or I do. As we work together, I help you simplify your message. I help you navigate the waters of running a damn business without running yourself into the ground. Understand where are the proper tools that you need to put into place so that you can have your business working for you Instead of you constantly chasing clients, constantly chasing platform after platform and tool after tool, I help you get your toolbox. I help you get your team. I help you get your business running so you don't have to run yourself into the ground to do it.
Fascinating. I might actually be interested.
I have so many people
Sold.
going, "Oh my god, that's so needed." It's not I'm not gonna guarantee absolute success, I mean, but I am gonna help you make it I mean, let's talk about the definition of success out there in the online space that's chasing the cash. It's the 50K in 5 seconds that we constantly hear, and that's unreasonable. They also don't tell you what was set up before that person made that 50,000, in 5 seconds either. They don't tell you what all the crap that had to happen before that, and many of them really don't know. And I don't think that plug and play is a good way to go with businesses. I do think that AI has a great deal to do, it always has a great deal to do with business. It's always been in the business space since the late 50s. It's always been there, always has. Automation has always been there. It's just evolved into this crazy, almost sentient being that scares the tar out of some people. But if you understand the tool, you understand whether or not it's for your business.
Correct. Was there a specific moment where you realized something isn't aligned here?
Do you mean in my business?
When you started helping people, when you saw the gap, basically.
God, yes. So in my industry, what I basically am is a gap analysis expert. So I take a look and see where the leaks are in your funnel. And when I have a business owner that won't talk to me and wants to put me in with the rest of the team, I can't do it that way because all I hear is the team saying, "We don't know what he wants. We don't know what to do. This is what we have, and we can't get anywhere. We're just going to keep spinning our wheels if we can't talk to the business owner about what he values inside of his business, who he wants inside of his business, and how he wants to bring them to the table. You can't just go running around doing all your stuff and not tell your team members what to do." And I was like, when I have a business owner like that, and I did have one like that. And I kept asking him. I was like, "You need to come to these meetings. You need to listen to your team members. We need to talk about who the heck you're serving because nobody knows, including me." And what I learned from that experience was I need to filter more. I need to ask more questions of the people coming to me for my services so that I'm clear exactly what they're looking for because it was a mismatch in services. He was looking for something else and I was providing something else. That's when I realized that you really have to be clear about what the heck it is you're serving because we have done for you services, we have done with you services, we have all kinds of different people out there specializing in this, that, and the other. And what I do is I work with the business owner and help that business owner get out from underneath a big pile of a to-do list in order to make their business the thing that they dreamed in the first place, which is, yes, generating cash is the focus, but it's this business that works for you so that you can focus on the things that you need to focus on as a business owner. I mean, it's not about posting all the time just to have a post out there. It's not about jumping into Chat GPT or Claude and giving it a prompt and telling it to do X, Y, and Z. It's not about that. It's about stepping in and knowing when and where you need to sprint and you need to slow down. And a business owner often looks at the bottom line. Well, what is conducive to bringing that bottom line to a reality? And that's what the business owner needs to be watching, not micromanaging every little aspect of their business.
A lot of people look successful on paper, but feel completely off internally. What do you think causes that disconnect?
They look successful and they feel
Yeah,
off internally, is what you
yeah,
said?
yeah.
Well, there's a lot of them out there. You fake it till you make it kind of thing. But entrepreneurship, I mean, what I've noticed from a lot of business owners, no matter how successful, I've talked to business owners with just like a stacked house and a waiting list, and they're still going, just looking left and right. What do we do? Ah! And I think that the reason why you second guess yourself is because there are levels of business. We think there's only this magic moment where, oh, I've got clients and it's all, no, once you get clients, you still got work to do. And there's still going to be more questions. And then when as you get more and more clients, you're still going to have questions. You're still going to be second guessing yourself because you never know when you're going to get the client that isn't a fit for your services and you didn't get the results that they wanted. They're going to, of course, push back. You're going to have all those things involved. And that's going to make you second guess yourself. There's also just the fact that you're taking a risk starting a business in the first place. And that risk will always be there. I saw a business owner who had a business that was making billions. I'm not joking. He was making billions. This is a guy that was ready for retirement. And all of a sudden, he came to me and he was telling me about the situation. And it wasn't him specifically. It was actually his partner came to me and he said, he's yelling at everybody. He doesn't need to be in there doing the things, addressing the things that he's doing. He said, he's just yelling at everybody. And everybody's like, oh my God, He's making everything tense. He's running off clients. He's doing these things when he's here, and he doesn't need to be in the office all the time. Doesn't have to be here. This is a physical business. And I said, it sounds like to me there's two things that need to happen. He needs to learn how to let go and just let it run. And what it boiled down to was he was really worried about how to scale it to the next level because he didn't have the resources available to go where he wanted to go to next. And it was a big, big, big obstacle. So his choices were sell it or partner with these guys. And he wasn't a trusting person, blah, blah, blah. But what it really boiled down to is that he was just ready for another stage, which was retirement. And that's a weird thing to say. But at the same time, if you're getting to that point in your business where you're just yelling at people and you're not happy, you need to address what is the problem. And he was able to sell that business to somebody else who could take it to the next level. There was, believe me, there was a big contract in that. But he still has stock in it, but that was his way of stepping away, but also creating some passive income where he didn't have to be active. And he could trust that person to take that business on and take on his legacy. I think that's the biggest worry is, we're not doing it perfect. I'm not good enough. You're always going to be like that. That's why business people and entrepreneurs say you better get used to being uncomfortable. It's because you will constantly second guess your guess. That money does not fix it. It actually can add more money, adds bigger problems.
That's a wild statement, to be honest, but I understand it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Oprah said when she was being sued for what, millions or billions of dollars. I can't remember. She said, "Well, at least I got the money to be sued for that much."
Yeah, well, it's a little bit different level. Let's put it that
It's
way.
a different level, but when
Yeah.
you think about it, it can be at any level. It's just a number. It can be at any level. Well, at least I got $100 for that traffic fine. If you don't have $100 for the traffic fine, what happens? A lot of stress, a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of things getting in your way. Money is a tool. It's not the end game.
Okay. What are some signs someone is operating out of alignment, even if things look fine externally? I think it's a similar kind of question. Maybe you can add more to it.
It's similar, but yeah, it's more of the mindset. There's when they so repeat it again. Let me hear it one more time.
What are some signs someone is operating out of alignment, even if things look fine externally?
Okay, yeah, you might find yourself avoiding actual sales tasks. Playing with the logo one more time. Or you're avoiding posting, or it just feels like it's pulling teeth to get up in the morning to do something with your business, whether that's posting, hiring a team member. You're avoiding a task that needs to be done, but for some reason there's pushback. And sometimes that can be your offer is slightly off. And when I see that the offer is slightly off, that's somewhere in your messaging, you may be talking to the broke mindset, or you may be more in a chase mindset versus a lighthouse. You're either the tugboat or the lighthouse. And the tugboat mindset is where you're going out, you're jumping on every platform under the sun. And let's be mindful every time you jump on a new platform, you have to start over again. But the mindset is I need more reach. When actually you need to take a step back and say, okay, I need to look at my funnel. I need to look at my process from when that person sees me to when they buy to when they're in my services. I need to look at that whole thing and see where the issue is. And sometimes it's in your message. Sometimes it's actually in the process itself. Sometimes it's in the offer and there's maybe your pricing. You're like, I just really don't like this pricing. You know, maybe it's too low, maybe it's too high, maybe something is there that you're not quite recognizing is being told to you. You're getting signals, but you don't know how to read those signals just yet. Because there are stages in business. There's the first year you need to be focusing on sales. Once you get those sales in, depending on how consistent you are, if you're inconsistent, which I mean, like my people are swinging between 3,000 to 8,000 per month. It's like, oh, I got 5K and there's the 8K and 10K is like, you're on a swing going, there's the 10K. I can hardly get it. And it feels impossible to get there because you've done so much to get there. Well, this is the time to sit down and look at your systems for your business and your offer and your pricing and see how we can streamline it because more than likely you're doing way too much and that's what's creating the inconsistency or actually getting a lot of clients and now it feels like the bubble is going to burst and you don't know what to do. You have some idea but you're kind of like I'm not quite sure how to navigate all this. I know I need a team member, I know I need this, that, and the other in order to scale to that next level, but I don't know how I'm going to get more people when it's been like pulling teeth to get these people that I have with the waiting list. And that sometimes means you need to add paid ads to the list in order and send out a machine that knows how to bring in those leads a little faster than what you're already doing manually. There are different stages in a business when you add a team member. You end up with that, the grapevine, the phone, game that we all played as a little kid. The message change as it goes down the line. You're right. Your first hire will know more about your business than your 30th hire if you're going to get that big. So you have to make sure that you have really clear onboarding instructions for all of your team members. They understand the philosophy behind your business, who you're looking for, how you want to support those clients, what is actually top priority versus everything else when it comes to the business. Like at the radio station, if the transmitter went down, we're screwed. Guess what's top priority today? I mean, that's a blatantly obvious one, but the obvious one, the other obvious thing can be that you feel like the bubble is about to burst and maybe it's time to shift into a more high converting or faster way of bringing in the leads. Or maybe it's time, if you're inconsistent, to sit down and actually look at your systems and plug them all in together. Because many times what we have are people that are, I hate this term because it's so reused, but frankenfunneled everything together, because they've gone to specialists. I'm going to go talk to the email person. I'm going to go talk to the digital course person. I'm going to go talk to the podcast growth person. I'm going to go talk to the social media person. And none of those are talking to each other. The client that I was talking about before that wouldn't come in to meet with me, he had people that all did basically the same thing, but they had a different label. So it was, okay, well, do you handle that or me? Because they all, it's like, I have that same skill. He didn't need half of the employees that he had in there because they were unnecessary. But he was doing what's been told. He get a podcast growth expert, get this, get that, get this. When honestly, he didn't need all of that. He didn't need half the stuff that he had. He just needed to streamline a little bit more and double down on the one thing that was pushing those sales, which was actually him going out and doing public speaking events.
Hmm,
That has nothing to do with a video or a social media manager.
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
You talk about alignment. How do you define alignment in a practical, real world sense?
So, I honestly, the word alignment, I wish there was another word for that. We use it so often. But when we're talking about alignment inside of a business, what that looks like is you are clear about where you need to focus, right? You're still going to have to take some risks because you may be sitting there looking at, like for me, I'll give you an example. When it was completely not in alignment, I've worked with Meta for a long, long time. And I got to a point in my business where it was just like, oh my God, I don't want to deal with the noise on Facebook today. Had nothing to do with posting. We think it has to do with posting sometimes, but when I look back on it, it had nothing to do with posting because I'm on YouTube making video. I mean, good God, from a post that takes 5 minutes to a video that, that you're working with and ideation and all that kind of stuff on top of it. I think if you use what I call the date system, it's my system for looking at your funnel to see where are the leaks. So if you have a leak at the top of your funnel where you draw people into your system, well, then you need to address that lead gen problem. I see a lot of people with like 25 million followers on Facebook and 5,600 subscribers on YouTube. And I'm like, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. You've got two top of the funnel tools, Facebook, YouTube, and neither one is really acting in the position that it needs to act. So Facebook is your lead generator. You need to find out why is there a leak of these 25 million? I've seen people talk about that. I'm 25 million followers. And I'm like, wait a minute, the numbers aren't lining up. You've got 25 million followers and 5,000 subscribers. There's a leak. There's a big leak. Why aren't they going from Facebook to YouTube? And I had people follow me everywhere. I was on every platform under the sun going live and they'd jump and I'd lose people along the way. So every hoop that you put in your funnel is a potential leak. That's why I say look at one so that you can see which one, when you work with one at a time, one platform at a time, you can see how it really works and go deep with it and understand how to use that tool and make it work for you. YouTube can 100% work for anybody under the sun. Facebook can 100% work for anybody under the sun. LinkedIn, TikTok, all of them can work. Just do one. You're already on the internet, baby. How much more reach do you need? Where you want to reach out to? Mars? I mean, I'm not sure what you're doing here. I mean, it's a big internet global. You're global as soon as you step on Facebook. But they feel like they have to be on every platform under the sun. That's the first place. Then the second one is attend to your audience. That's the nurture zone. And that's where the message comes in. That's where the clarity comes in. That's where the value comes in. That's where you're giving basically free advice to people. Every time you post, every time you do a video, that's a free resource. You don't have to make 1,000 ebooks or all that kind of stuff. You could have one space where people come and get a little taste of what your services are like. And that's where you can find out, A, are you delivering too much where they think, I got it. I don't need any more. I don't need to pay you. I'm good. Or are they going, not for me? And are they your ideal client? That's the thing. I think we look too much at, people saying no, but we never ask ourselves, well, were they my ideal client in the first place? Those no's are very revealing about how to speak clearer about your services. And then you have turn them into clients, your converter. And that's the main thing that a business owner needs to be looking at is that converter. Is it converting? How fast is it converting? If it's not converting and you're not getting enough people through that, you got to look at various elements inside of your conversion, which is, if you're doing sales calls, for example, are you representing the value clearly? Or is your price off? Or is the person in the room just not a match? And how can you tweak your message in the nurture zone to improve the likelihood of somebody who's a match to come in? I had a client that literally knew if that person was ideal and was ready to buy before they came into the sales call.
Before they even spoke.
Before they even spoke, he knew because of his process. Yeah. So he didn't waste their time, he didn't waste his. There it is, right there, right there. And the way that my services, I do the same thing. I've done tons and tons of sales calls myself. And now I've shifted it over into a website that handles the sales call for me. My client, who's a very busy client, I take away having to stop down on a phone call to talk about a service and let you sit with it for a little bit, let you take a look at what this offer is. You can contact me in email and ask me any questions that you have. If you absolutely have to get on a call because you want to have a little bit more security and you really feel like this is for you, but you still have some questions, we can do that. But the way that my services work is you have your timeline and your schedule, and I have mine. It's not that I don't want to work with you. It's just how can I deliver this so that I'm not getting in your way, right? You've got kids to pick up, you got a business to run, you got shit to do, So I believe in asynchronous types of services. That's why mine are one-on-one. You have access to me once you sign in, you have direct access to me. I don't disappear after you buy my services. I'm always there ready to answer any questions for you. And when you give somebody that kind of security, it gives them that moment to sit back and look at that service and read about it and see if it's for them. And if they have any questions, they have that person to ask. And when you understand through sales calls, free calls, coffee chats, I hate that term, but call it what it is. It's a sales call or a strategy call. It's either 30 minutes or 15. When you do enough of those, that's your market research. And if you do them well, you can convert people. You can take that information and you can move it over to a website. I have clients that have become fully booked in 90 days and turned around, taken their information, moved it over to a website, and now they're booking people just off that website. So it depends on how you want to do business. I mean, there have been entrepreneurs out there that want to do the DMs. They like doing it that way. They like doing sales calls. They are the highest converter. So I think that the biggest problem that we have when it's out of alignment, going back to that word again, is we don't know the pros and cons of the thing that we're doing. If you're going to do sales calls, you're going to have a day where you're sitting there doing sales calls all day. That's the thing you're going to have to do. If you have a website, you're going to have to acknowledge it may be a little bit slower converter because it's a website, right? You're not sitting there actually talking to that person to convert them. You have to sink into that. YouTube is notoriously slow in growth. So if Facebook is very fast in growth. It depends on your situation in your business. You can get cash quick off Facebook and cash quick off LinkedIn. But YouTube is that evergreen aspect. Podcasting in general is that evergreen aspect where your stuff is out there selling all the time. And the hardest thing to do there, here's the con, is to let it do its job. So when you have alignment and all that kind of stuff, talking about alignment and all that sort of thing, you have to sit there and ask yourself, do I even like working with this platform? And if I do, why don't I want to use it? What is it because we have all the knowledge under the sun. It's just those little tiny steps, those little unique moments inside of each and every one of our journeys that come along that nobody can really answer for you unless somebody's sitting right by you along the way and knows the backstory of how you got here and a little bit more. So with my services, I have a very long questionnaire. We start out with the debrief. You answer all those questions. I come back to you. We talk about your 90-day plan, and then we put it into action. And along the way, we make tweaks. We're always in action in my services, always in action. So you can come in, you can talk to me during business hours. I check my messages once a day, ask me a question. I can get back to you, say, hey, do this, or give you research. Hey, this is time to take a step back and reevaluate this. I tell you when to sprint, when to slow down. And I also help you navigate that along the way.
Okay. There you
It's a
go.
lot of info, I know.
Yeah.
Alignment is such a tricky thing, though. I mean, it's like, what exactly is alignment? And for me, alignment is when your business finally feels effortless. It may not be effortless, but for you, it feels doable and you can make it work. And you wake up in the morning and you're like, I can take on this day. I don't, you can also tell yourself, I don't like doing this thing, but if I go ahead and get this thing done, I can go do these other things that I really want to do. Or I won't feel stressed out because I'm trying to race with the clock throughout the day. So yeah, we do touch on, what is your energy, how to map out your schedule, that kind of thing. I really think it all boils down to, is your schedule aligned with the way you want to serve your clients and bring them into your services?
What changes when someone starts operating from a place of clarity versus force?
You mean forcing it versus clarity? Well, clarity, you know, that's always a thing for entrepreneurs. When you're a little bit like forcing it, that's so normal when you really think about it, especially in the beginning years when you're just trying all the things. I started out on YouTube, then jumped over on LinkedIn, then tried out Clubhouse, then went over to TikTok and Instagram and all the things so I could find my home. And eventually, weirdly, I was at my home in the first place. I came back to YouTube. One, because I found out, oh, that's where people are coming from. Surprise, your clients are coming from there. Two, I really do. Am I good at it? No, but I really do love working with video. I may never hire an editor. I may hire an editor, but I honest to God like messing around with that, from time to time. I do like public speaking. I've always been strong. So it's really looking at what your talents are that fits the platform that you want to use. Because I've had my clients that are successful on Facebook, a couple of them have said, I'm not a copywriter. You don't have to be. It's fucking Facebook. It's Facebook. Just be you. It's social media. Just make sure that when you post, you talk about your services. So she started connecting her dog in this. I was out on a walk and I talked to one of my clients today and they told me this. This was an interesting thing that I found out, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy that knew before people even came to him whether or not they were a fit, he had them take an analysis that was very quick, but it told him exactly where they were in their journey. And if he had somebody come up and say, well, I need to pass this test next week, what are my chances? And he's already seen the evaluation and he knew that they wouldn't be able, there was no way in hell they were going to be able to get that result in a week. He'd just look at him and say, pray. That's what you need to do. Pray. He was real with his people. So if you want clarity, if you want confidence, if you don't want to sit there and feel like you're forcing stuff, step into who you are as an expert. Let go of, what kind of marketing speak do I have? I need to say what kind of lingo, all of that. Let go of the logos for once and just sit down and practice talking about what you do. Do it with a friend. Have that friend ask questions. Do it with, do it in sales call. That's the best way to do it is do a free sales call, even if you're just starting out. Go out there, tell people what you have, tell them, hey, you want to get on a free call with me? I can help you work with this. It really helped me out. I'm started these services. And as you go, you will sound less desperate. You will, because you have more clarity about how to talk to somebody. And I think that what it boils down to is the reason why you're forcing it is there's something that's not aligned. And I hate that word, but there's something that's just not quite working out for you and the way your lifestyle and your schedule is right now in this season. Something is not matching up so you can juggle all the things well. So your body's telling you this is so hard. So your brain shuts down. You feel like you have to force yourself into work. Take a moment, step away, let your brain just have a moment to not think. And then all of a sudden, sometimes in those moments, if not, then maybe you need to talk to somebody to make heads or tails of what you're juggling there and make it a little bit easier for you to navigate. Because I think, honestly, in the end, what we're doing is way too much in a day. Way too much in a day. Just, we'll sit there and we'll make 3 different to do lists, one for yourself, one for the house, one for the business, maybe even one for the kids and the family, and we've got all these to do lists and we never say, what are 3 things I can do today? It's always, what are the 20 things that I want to get done now when a lot of those things can actually wait?
The Eisenhower Square, right?
Yeah, it's a yeah, the urgent but important. But yeah, in business, we always make everything urgent and important because money's involved. I mean, if your business isn't bringing that cash flow through the way that you need it to come through, whether it's consistent and you've got a big wait list, you feel like the bubble's about to burst, you're still stressed out about that. It's like, well, gosh, how do we get past this and get it to where it's a little easier? or you're swinging and you're inconsistent, or you're starting at zero. We're always in a spot in business where it's going to feel hard. I think as soon as you accept that and give yourself a little bit of grace, maybe you can slow down a little bit and see how you can navigate it. Because every obstacle, do you go through it? Do you go under it? Do you go around it? Do you ignore it? Go a different way? But not everything's urgent and important.
Where do you see this space going over the next few years?
God. Well, with AI, I mean, I think the biggest question that a lot of coaches like me is like, is it going to replace us? My son is a tech guy. He does coding. He does all that. He's cybersecurity, that kind of stuff is what he's studying and working on. And he said, most of the tools that we have out there, we don't need. So we're going to be inundated with more tools, right? And I think that in this space, there's going to be more AI. AI is going to get scarier and scarier. So if you don't try to understand it now, you're going to get more scared, right? I mean, it's not this being that's taking all of your information and sharing it with nefarious human beings or trying to take over your world. And most of the time, because AI is obviously going to be a big thing moving forward, it's evolving so fast. It may replace virtual assistants, podcast growth experts. It may replace them, it may replace a business consultant, but I doubt that because what ChatGPT and Claude cannot do is call you out on your shit.
Open club. Keep that English on.
Yeah, it may in the end. I mean, ChatGPT has a little bit, but at the same time, I've had to call out AI tools on their shit because you can put a prompt into Claude. See, Claude and ChatGPT are not necessarily different. There's a slight difference between the two of them. ChatGPT is more about building systems, creating conversions for me, and Claude is that refiner. It's the refiner that sits there and takes it and tweaks it, and it's more about long form. It started out more about blogs, longer form text and tweaking it. It's like a revision expert. But at the same time, let's say Claude and ChatGPT give you this wonderful, wonderful thing. You go out there and you implement it. They can't predict your lifestyle. I mean, you can feed it a lot. I mean, the Chat GPT helps me with a lot of things, but every once in a while, and so does, I've used Claude, but every once in a while you have to go, hey, wait a minute, there's one more thing. And when you are a business owner, you have so many things going through your mind that you just want to get it done fast. And honestly, I think if you're going to use these tools, you need to do a little bit of work with yourself first before you go in there and ask it to help you. It's the same thing as having a team member out there, that you're like, hey, just go out there and run my social media and not tell them who the hell you want. You don't have very much information. It goes beyond, I help X do X so they can X, goes way beyond that. Way beyond that. I mean, if you ever looked at Meta ads and the things that it monitors, it goes beyond the demographics, the basic demographics, and gets into whether or not they own a dog or not. I mean, is that important?
Or if they play
For
check,
some companies, maybe, but not for mine.
or they play checkers at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday or Sunday, right? They
So
just
what now?
play checkers like at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, right?
I mean, it's there's a lot of things that these tools can tell us, but we don't need to let them run us. The tool is not there to run us. It's there to help us. It's just a substitute for a team member because we have automation systems that automatically send out an email. Secretaries used to do that. So all we're doing is replacing the human with a tool. And that's the scary piece, right? But at the same time, that tool may be able to call you out on your shit. It may be able to, but how much do you know about yourself? Are you confident in yourself that you need it to call you out on your shit? I mean, my son called me out on my shit the other day, and ChatGPT and Claude would never have picked up on it because I didn't, and my son was able to call me out on my crap. So I mean, he was like, "Why are you asking me that when you could?" Because I don't want to, and it's overwhelming. And that's half the time. That's why we're turning to Claude and Chat. I don't want to because it's overwhelming. You just do it for me. And that's not the attitude you need going in. You got to step up as a business owner and delegate. You got to step up as a business owner and know what the heck you're doing.
That is true. If someone resonates with what you shared today, what's the best way for them to contact you?
I am currently working on a website. I hope to have it done in a couple weeks, and it's at leahsparrow.com. You can also find me on YouTube. The Making Business Effortless podcast is the best place to start because you will find all kinds of videos that will walk you through some things that you can do right now in your business to create more consistent cash and clients inside of your business and give you a little bit more clarity moving forward. But if you really, really are ready, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can find out about my services. There's some links inside the description. And just know I'm working on leahsparrow.com right now. I'm working on a brand new resource a 3 video series that will help walk you through how you lead generate, how you bring those people to the table, and how you talk about your offer and what to look at in your offer to make sure it's not draining your energy.
I was just about to ask that question. Wow.
I
Literally that. So the next question was, in your work, where do you see people spending too much time or things that drain their energy?
So the first thing I always look at is their schedule. And many times, like for example, some of my clients have come to me, they're running, most of us have like 2 offers. You got 2 different types of services, programs, all these programs, all that kind of stuff. And they're the same thing. You don't see it. They're literally the same thing. So next time you look at your offers, think, what problem does this solve and for who? And are you just calling it something different when it's actually the same thing? And then ask yourself, okay, so why is it 2 different things? Is it the who or is it the what? Because sometimes we like, especially with digital creators, we say, I know all these things. I can do all these things. So I'll use myself an example. Like I told you earlier, I went through this big long spiel of all the things that I can do. What I'm actually looking at is your client acquisition process. I look at how you bring them to the table and how you serve them. There's a lot behind that, but that's basically what I'm doing in an effort to create consistent revenue without killing yourself to do so. But what I'll see is you doing everything and the client doing way less. So we have people out there with multiple offers. That leads to confusion in the messaging. We have people out there sitting in, free Facebook groups, running a free Facebook group. I've done it. I've been there. I've done that. Running a free Facebook group, going live constantly, doing group get togethers for free. You're available too much to those that aren't paying you. That's the biggest one is you're available too much to those that aren't paying you in an effort to get them to pay you. When actually pullback energy works better. If you're
Uh,
always available, they just figure, "Hey, I can just keep getting more free advice from her, and
Yeah.
I won't have to pay for the services."
If you could remove or automate one part of your business today, what would it be?
If I could remove or automate one part of my business, I just got done automating it. So I'm sitting there going, what would that be? Honestly, anything that'll help me uh, be even more present with my clients, because that's more important than anything, right? So if we're going to look at that, then that means where in my automation sequence can I improve? And if I was going to talk, it'd probably be video editing. I mean, Riverside does a lot for me. I mean, it does. I mean, I can get a month's worth of content done in a week, but at the same time, it Riverside and these other AI devices that are they are really improving editing. I mean, with the way that they're moving along, I think that that would be just brilliant if we can reduce the time in the production studio for me.
Hmm.
But you got to be careful with that, because every time we automate something and create more time, we fill it with more crap to do. Got to be careful with that. So if I were to fill that extra time of, faster editing speeds, that's faster time in the production room, I would go ride horses more. And when I'm riding horses, I'm listening to clients and I'm reflecting on what they have to say and I have more space and quiet to go, okay, what does this person need right now? What are they telling me? Is it a mindset block? Is it a schedule issue? Is it a messaging issue? Is it a branding issue? Or is it just simply they need to regulate their nervous system before going into a sales call and develop a better process for that? There's so many questions that go through my head. So I just keep listening to what they're saying to pinpoint that one next step that leads to, I'll hear a lot of problems, but it's like, what's their easiest next step right now to get them back in there and get them back in momentum?
Hmm.
You know, so if I can reduce any time spent with lead generation, which for me is, the production room because YouTube does a lot of work for me. I would want that, and I think that AI with what I'm seeing with these, Riverside, Descript, all the editing tools that are out there, CapCut, as they grow and as they evolve, it almost seems like you could literally sit there. I don't know how soon this is going to be. Literally sit there and speak. I mean, there's AI speaking for you out there. I don't like that. So I'll just say that up front. I feel like I need to be in front of it's me. If I'm going to work one on one, let's get to know the person you're working with and not some robot doing my video. I mean, but if you're doing something else, fine to use a robot for your video. But for me and my services and the way I want them to run, I don't think that's ideal for me. So that being said, with the way that they're developing, I think that you could literally jump in there and go, okay, I want you just to cut all the and it already does this, but also I want you to cut out this, that, and the other, and then take this and move it over here, and you can just tell it what to do, and boom, it's done. I really think it will get to that point. Is it going to be clunky along the way? Yes. Yes. most definitely. Tech is always clunky when it's trying something new.
But people have jobs, right?
Yep, yep. So they can make it less clunky.
Thank you for sharing. One thing I wanted to say is that you mentioned, first of all, building a site, helping basically shortening the cycle of creating videos. I did see a number of implementations using AI doing those things. For example, there's one called InVideo, I believe. So it connects to Claude. It has your branding, your messaging, everything else. You
Mhm.
can actually put together initial videos. Basically. Of course, if you want to, you can step in and add more stuff to it, but gotta automate it that way. As for the website, are you familiar with Emergent?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, it's right now with the website is it's more me doing the resources. I gotta sit down and record the videos. It's already ready to go. I just haven't published it yet. I just gotta plug in the resources. So I see a lot of these tools and it's asking yourself, is that ideal for me and how I want to run my business? Because all these tools work. Okay? They all work. Let's just say it out loud. All the platforms, all the things that you have at your fingertips, they all work. Not one is better, not one of them is better than the other. Not one damn one of them. What the question is it for my business and the way I want to do business? The way I want to do business. Let's quit chasing fast and ask, how do you want to do business?
I got something for you actually. Do you have OpenClaw installed? There is Claw Code, there's
Mhm.
Claw Interface, and there is OpenClaw that you should use it.
To be honest, I have only been dabbling a little bit and looking at Claude, and I will tell you this. I have, like I said, my son's here. He's my coder guy. So he works with AI and all that kind of stuff. And he was looking at it and he said, not really impressed. And that's when I said, okay, why? And I asked him a few questions why. And he said, well, I don't see it as much different than anything else in the way, and it may work differently. It may do that differently. So I was like, okay, let's go look and see what's the nuance, right? What's the nuance with it? So we have ChatGPT versus Claude. And when you're looking at ChatGPT versus Claude, it's a basic premise of Claude is clean this up, tighten it, pressure test it, and ChatGPT is build it, shape it,
Really?
make it convert, right?
Here's a little difference. You cannot ask ChatGPT to write your book, right? If you ask it to write your book, it's gonna write into the limit of characters you can output. If you have Claude Code installed, you can
Mhm.
ask it to write your book based
Right,
on
because it's made for long form. Mhm,
well, it's gonna go back and iterate, right? Not only is
mhm.
long form, it's iterative basically. You can learn skills, so you can ask it to learn sales, marketing, or something else,
Right.
like books. It's gonna use those skills to create the content, and you can actually spend half
So
an
let me
hour.
ask you something. When it's learning those skills about sales, are you just what are you telling it to learn about sales? How are you telling tell me that? How are you telling it to learn about sales?
There are multiple skills you can look up, and there are multiple books you can feed it to learn from.
So nothing about how you want to do sales, but how the general advice is on how to do
No,
sales.
if you put together a document, the guardrails, and you feed
Right.
it, the document is going to work off this document.
Right.
Plus everything else that it knows. But there's more. There's another tool which I actually just started using it recently. OpenClaw works out a bit differently. It's basically an agent which you chat with, and
Mhm.
it just stuff for you. So it connects to a lot of other tools. It can. So what I've done recently over the weekend, and I've tried this. I asked it to create a mission control center for myself. So
Okay, so define mission control center. What were you what's your take on what the mission control center was supposed to do for you?
all the things you work in your life, right?
Okay, kinda
So
like your own personal dashboard, so to speak.
yeah, so it goes through all the news which are happening, right? It separates whatever is relevant for you. This tells it, gets your daily report. For me, it creates non-actionable things, just for information, actionable things from which I can create software. And then it creates software for me that I can then publish and publishes it. It tracks all your projects and it does overnight research for every single project to move that project forward, basically. So it tracks risks, issues. It's like the point is it spins up multiple agents which do their own thing on their own, and it manages those agents. You basically have your own team of people. So
Yeah, that's what we said earlier, is it's basically a team member, so still
not a team member, it's a team of
yeah, it's
teammates.
a team. But that's, word salad. But when you're looking at Claude, yeah, it's a bunch of team members, but still as a business owner, you can tell it to do all of the biggest thing that I see with a lot of people, and this has been the track with automated systems, period. And you have to be careful, I think, as a business owner, is seeing that as your substitute for you. Because we have
Well, either a
so much
substitute
information.
or
Huh?
enhancement of your work, right? Because honestly, yeah,
You're
I have a
frozen.
lot of things I want to.
There you
Sorry.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Thing, all of us have a lot of things we want to work in our life, right?
Right.
A lot of the small projects want to focus on what this system allows you to do is to have them work on it. So instead of you working on those projects, researching what this
Mhm,
means,
mhm.
making decisions, well, actually making decisions, but basically researching and taking the next step, basically, to move the business forward. And if you have a lot of projects, they will work on all those projects at the same time. And you're just sitting there in a seat to approve, change, or update their action.
Yeah, so that
Then
just sounds like an automated team.
yeah, I mean, of
Right.
course, it can be done online. If it can be done, if it needs to be done offline, like repairing a tap or fixing a wire, it can't do that. Cannot really do that.
Yeah, well, when you need thumbs. But,
Yeah,
no, what I'm seeing what you're saying is it's a replacement for social media managers.
I wouldn't say it's a replacement for anything, but definitely not yet. Not yet. I mean, we're getting there, but
I can see it evolving that way with the way that you've talked to me about it, and that sort of thing. But what it boils down to is that it can be doing all of those things for you, but you still, as a business owner, need to know where to look to make sure it's working properly.
that is true.
I
Well,
think that's where the ethical piece is installed with any of these tools is, sure, you can tell it to go do something, but you still have to monitor it, right? You still have to make sure it's actually working towards your company's vision.
and this is the reason why anything. So mission control is fully customizable to what I need because I got my own health goals there and
Right,
a
right.
family, everything else. You instruct it to follow the vision and the goals, which is set at the very front. So anything they do, any of those projects, they have to be aligned to the vision, which is set it, and the goals, which is kind of cool. Anyways, if you're interested, I'm actually more interested in your businesses and your service.
So when
Your-
you're looking at that and you're looking at Claude, what I always look at is the bottom line. What's the conversion rate, right? And like we said earlier, why do we feel like we have to force things? Why do we ramble on and on about our services? Claude can only work with what it gets, just like any other team.
You're
It
envisioning
can
that as
only
you.
work with what it gets. And it can't it can to some extent figure it out for you, but you need to be really careful when it spits something out and says, "This is really great or really sharp. Here's the next thing. Here's what you need to put." Look at it, be careful because all the hype that sometimes these bots can give you is really great. It's great insight, blah blah blah. It feeds your ego, but you need to take a step back and go, is it really? Is it really? Because Claude can't read your mind and you can't put everything in your head down. And
You get
as
it.
you go and use it, and I find this with Chat GPT. Neither one, like I said, none of them are better than the other. You just have to be careful about your vision changes over time as you learn more and more about your people and who you want to serve. Your path changes constantly. Seasons change in business, like we were talking about before. So you have to know what to tell Claude in order for Claude to create the results that you need for your business in the end.
The one thing I
That
like.
doesn't mean that Claude's a bad thing. I'm just saying, as a business owner, don't, and I'm not saying you do. I'm not saying you do. I'm saying you generally. Don't treat it like this magic wand that boom, you've got a bit, you need to know a little bit about what the hell you're doing, what your resources are and what you're capable of doing. What's doable for you in your life. A lot of this comes from my experience dealing with an autoimmune disease that a lot of people were like, why isn't there just, a diet that you can just use that, like that'll just all of a sudden you're just fine and your health is great and everything's wonderful. Just plug this diet in. But the problem is that my lifestyle was different from Joe's lifestyle, and
Well,
Joe's lifestyle was different from Sue's lifestyle. And we can't remember all of the things we need to tell that bot until we start implementing it. And plans change as you go. They always do. You can plan a trip and then, guess what? A deer jumped in front of the car. Can't predict that shit. So it
that's
happens in
why
business. You can't predict a lot of things in business. You can predict things based off of statistics that happened over time, but honestly, there's things that happen to a business owner that Claude simply cannot predict. And that includes your health, that includes your kids, that includes your family. I can't tell you how many business owners are neglecting their families for chase because they're chasing. So it's about stepping up as a business owner and saying, okay, this is a great tool. I like what it's doing for me. It gives me all of this stuff, puts everything and condenses it down for me, gives me some clarity on what the hell I'm looking at because everything in your brain is just churning and churning and churning and churning and churning. And when you can get it out, that's what Claude and ChatGPT do. It's just an expedited journaling session. And then they actually have the power to go and find you more resources. They have the power to develop systems. They have the power to tweak your long form content. They have the power to go out there and do some things for you. Talk to your clientele out there in the space and answer frequently asked questions and do all of these amazing things for you. But in the end, does that mean you need to be hovering over it and micromanaging it? No. In the end, you still have to come back and say, where are we now? Do we still want to go down this road? And then go back to Claude, ChatGPT, your team, and say, hey, here's something I found out. How can we navigate it? And that's where they add the speed is, here's something else I found out. Tell me a little bit more about this. What can we do here? What can we do there? I do that with ChatGPT all the time. What does this mean? Basically, that's what we're doing. What does this mean? How do I say this? What do they mean by that? All that kind of stuff. That is what keeps us churning and spinning our wheels. But at the same time, we'll get the information and think we're good to go implement the plan, and something else comes up and it piles on itself. And you can have like I said, $1 billion company. And the guy was stressed out because he felt like he still needed to go in there and make things happen. Why? When everything was happening on its own. And that's the hardest part to do as a business owner is be able to walk away and let it work.
Just let it run.
You got to trust the process, but you still have to know as a business owner when to step in and go, okay, wait a minute. Whoa. Slow your horses. Something's a little bit amuck. And know what it means. What is amuck? That's the hardest thing because you can have ChatGPT and Claude do all these wonderful things. And you may have a very successful business from it, but how is it affecting you?
I reckon I actually want to find out more about your services for my own self. But no more. You want to talk more about these topics because I can definitely find
Yeah,
some
I'm